So check this out, people. It's Saturday and I'm driving. I'm driving to Massachusetts. It's a windy day, right? And I'm just chilling, got nothing else to do. So I decided today to talk about Moran's Rants, your boy, right? Because recently he came out with a book, right? And it's funny because me and Rants, we got this love-hate relationship, right? Where we don't like each other for whatever reason. It's a YouTube thing, right? Outside of YouTube, I wish him the best. The fact that he was able to put a book together, that's a huge accomplishment for anybody to find publishers and editors and put everything together. That takes months, if not years. It's a lot of work. So a lot of respect to him for that. And again, I wish him a lot of success in the book. Now, that being said, I'm going to shit on him like I always do because he deserves it. He deserves it because, like Thomas James, right? Thomas Small Bones James, right? And that's thanks to Marantz for putting his real name out there. Thomas James and Marantz Rants are the only losers who are still on YouTube pumping GME and AMC. And when I say the only ones, obviously there are others, but the major sellers and pumpers of these two stocks from back in the day, so 7 years ago, bro, if we go back to 2019, it's Thomas James, and I'm not sure
Car on shoulder ahead.
I'm not sure how long Marantz has been on. I know that I started following him when I was in the Philippines some 2 or 3 years ago, but he came after the whole squeeze bullshit, right? The whole MOAS. He came late to the party. And so after he showed up, the squeeze had already happened. I sat in front of my laptop at home and I watched GME, and this is pre-split. I watched GME go from $49 a share to $400 a share in less than 24 hours. That was the squeeze. That was it. It's over. It's finished. This is why Roaring Kitty cashed out. He cashed out. He told you this would happen, and it happened. And then you got these latecomers like Marantz Rants who got all excited, right? Who jumped in too late in the hundreds of dollars, right? Because they were idiots, right? They missed the train, right? Next stop, right? You got to do what I used to do when I was a boy in New York City, right? Where I used to live on 139th Street between Brook and Willis Avenue. And if I took the train on Willis and I was just getting there and I missed the train, I would walk to the next station, which was a couple of miles away, believe it or not. And at that station, there were uptown and downtown trains. And so if you miss your stop on the other one, all you have to do is walk to the other stop and you might catch an express, right? And that way it'll save you some time because you miss your local, right? And that's what Marantz Rants tried to do. He tried to catch the express because he missed his train. He missed the squeeze. And so he jumped on the express train to try to get there on time, and he missed it. And then after missing it, he continued to sell this bullshit about a MOAS and, welcome millionaires, so have a good night, millionaires, and thank you for coming to the show, and how anyone and everyone who's invested in GME is a millionaire or will be a millionaire, right? He didn't put any of that in the book, I'm sure, right? Because his book is about connect the dots. But he's not connecting these dots, right? He's not connecting the dots that he and people like him, like Thomas James, right? Like Scavenger Stonks and these other scumbags who a lot of them disappeared, right? They disappeared because they know they lost. They look stupid. They can't make up for the losses they caused their followers. So they had to disappear and delete their channels, like many of them did. But then you got people like Morantz who want to die on that hill. They want to die on that hill because they don't want to look stupid. So they want to show you their success, right? Because he wrote a book, right? Much success to you, Morantz. But what happens to your followers? What happens to your followers who you've been telling that they're going to become rich? It's been 5 years since you've been on? I know I keep throwing out numbers like 7, 6, 5, because I really don't know. But bro, you've been on for a long time. You've been on for years telling people that GME was going to squeeze, going to the moon. When Roaring Kitty came on and he told people that GME would squeeze or that they could squeeze it because of whatever reasons, that squeeze happened within weeks, if not months. And I don't even believe it took months. Before what he said, based on what he knew, it took place within weeks. And now you want your followers and everyone else to believe that if they hold on to GME for years now you kick the can. You didn't even kick the can, bro. You threw the football. You threw that shit so far, right? So far down the field that, bro, it was intercepted. Hell, not even. You're late to the fucking party, bro. You missed the train. And then now that you want to show your book off, right? I bet you $20 that you didn't write in the book that you told people that if they buy into GME, they would become millionaires. I bet you didn't put in the book that if people listen to the things you say and trust you, right, based on your knowledge and your experience, because only you are the one who holds the key, right, and the knowledge to GME. Because outside of you, anyone who tells you the truth, outside of you, anyone who has knowledge outside of you, it's not real. It doesn't matter, right? He's not part of your crew. He's not part of your cult, right? He's not part of your woke movement and your bullshit book, right? Because again, in the book, you don't connect the dots to you. You don't say like Thomas James, like Blue versus Wall Street, like Trace Trades, right? Like all of these guys on YouTube, right? Like Tony DeNaro, your boy. You don't put yourself in the same category as they do, even though you, like many, caused thousands, if not millions of people to lose most, if not all of their monies. You didn't write that in the book. You didn't write down in the book that if people sell their GME stock, or if they sold their stock during this whole bullshit that you were selling, that you would cut them off from their channels because you don't want nothing to do with people. Like a little bitch, like a little freaking simp 12-year-old girl. I don't want to play with you if you don't wear the colors I wear, or if you don't wear the dress I wear, right? That's you. You don't put that in the book, right? That if people didn't believe you or side with you or hold on to their bullshit GME stock, right? That you didn't want nothing to do with them. That you practically manipulated your followers to hold on to a stock that tanked. Bro, it fucking tanked. You could come up with all the bullshit you want about the books and all whatever bullshit. Bro, the stock market is filled with hundreds of thousands of stocks. Hundreds of thousands of freaking stocks to choose from, and you want everyone in this fucking world or in the United States of America to watch you, to read your book and trust and believe that the only stock worth anyone investing into is GME. And if they don't do it, they should be alienated. They should be disrespected. They should be shut down. And none of your followers should have anything to do with them. You didn't write that in the book. You didn't write in the book that you attacked anybody and everybody who told you you were wrong. You didn't write in the book, right? You didn't connect these dots, right? That people were questioning you and your methods and how you got your information. And if they simply asked the question with respect, one man to another, you became like a typical woke Democrat who wears a dress, right? Because you believe in all that woke nonsense, right? And so instead of, right, being honest with your followers, right, and simply allowing those who want to trade their stock to do whatever the fuck they want. Just imagine, I'm a fucking grown-ass man who pays my own bills, and then I got some bitch ass on YouTube telling me that I can't sell my stocks. That if I sell my stock, he doesn't want anything to do with me. That if I sell my stocks of GME, he tells his followers to shut me down. Oh, no, don't follow that guy. He sold his GME stocks. Why don't you put that in the book? How about that old lady who lost her house? How about that man on disability? How about your neighbor, your friends, the people you ran into on the street, telling them to invest in a bullshit stock that they would become millionaires? And they bought into the stock in the 80s, in the 50s. Hell, Andrew Tate bought GME. I remember exactly where I was when the GME spiked. It went up to some 74, maybe $84 a couple of years ago, a year and a half ago, whatever. And everybody got hyped up, including especially your followers, and bought in at that price, bought in the high 80s, 50s, and 40s, including Andrew Tate, right?
1
The
mile.
rich guy.
Use the right 3 lanes to continue straight.
The rich guy, Andrew Tate, right? Drives the Bugatti. He bought in at $54 a share. I remember exactly. Everybody got excited. I remember when, what's his name? The black guy that's always dressed up really cool from Fox News. He wears the colorful glasses. Big guy, black guy, right? He's a financial guy on Fox. I forgot his name, but you guys know what I'm talking about. He bought into AMC. All of these people, including GME, all of these people, famous, bought into this bullshit. Why? Because it's easy to get caught up into a frenzy, especially a scam at this scale, because the
Continue
AMC
on I-91 North.
because the AMC and GME MOAS was a scam. The only one who won in the GME squeeze
Continue straight for 27.7 miles to I-91 North.
was Roaring Kitty, because he knew what would happen, and as soon as it happened, he got his money, he grabbed his bag, and he left. And the idiots, the losers like Rants, who came in late, who decided to do their own research after the research had already been done. It had been mapped out. Everything had already been set. He wants to come in late, just like a lot of latecomers, like this little bitch. What's his name? Mikey's Money, right? I call him a bitch because if you want to play with the big boys, you're going to be treated like a big boy, right? And he's 21 years old. I remember when he came into the game late again, like Morantz. He came into the AMC game late. And I started to make videos about this kid because I noticed his following going up really fast, right? And I would make videos about these grown-ass men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s who are taking advice from a little boy who lives with his mother. Bro, this fucking kid still lives with his mom. in his mom's house. He don't pay rent. He probably don't even pay for his freaking cell phone. And you got these 40, 50, 60-year-old men on his channel asking him for advice and comments. Dude, it was so fucking ridiculous. I think they finally realized, and after him getting all of the hate that he was getting, because when I would read his comments at the beginning, let me tell you, people, I was the one getting all the hate at the beginning, right? I got a lot of hate from his followers. One day I spent all freaking night responding to 2,000 comments that came in from his followers hating on me. They don't do it no more. They can't. Why? Because they're all bitches. They're bitches because they followed a fucking 19-year-old little boy who lives with his mother, probably works at McDonald's, got fired a few times, and who cares? Mommy pays the rent. But let me go on YouTube and tell these grown-ass men who have children and mortgages how AMC is going to the moon. And be sure to subscribe to my channel, right? I'm so cute. I'm so pretty, ladies. Put that money in there, AMC to the moon, right? How you feel, Mikey's Money? You probably feel like my rants. Put out a book, kid. Put out a book. Do the same. Thomas, James, Small Bones, do the same. Put out a book. Follow Morant's lead. You're all scammers. You're all low lives, right? Yeah, it's fucking pathetic. This guy doesn't get embarrassed. Morant's friends doesn't get embarrassed that after all these years, he's been telling people that they're going to become rich, that they're going to become millionaires. He shunned so many people, disrespected so many people, lost so many followers. Now he's got a book. Who's going to buy your book, Morant's? The followers you alienated? Who's going to buy your book, Morant's? The followers you lost, unsubscribe because you're a dick and you don't know how to talk. Dude, a man who plans on buying a book doesn't cater to AMC or GME. He caters to both. He caters to anybody. Who gives a fuck what stocks they buy or sell? If I plan on creating a book or putting a book together and I had alienated the people that you alienated, months into planning my book and before I lay it down, I would make sure that I would rectify all the bullshit I did and said so that I can regain some type of grace with all of the people that I disrespected and lost. Because, bro, this is a money game. It's about money. It's like these stupid ass politicians, right? These Democrats who want to alienate white men because they believe that white men is the problem in this country, right? It's funny how the country's gone to hell since all of this DEI bullshit, right? But it's the white man, right? So Morant's rant is like the Democrats who refuse to accept reality, right? Who see reality in front of their face but refuse to accept it, right? So now he's got a book where he's talking about how all of these companies and who take over other companies who are failing and whatever, right? You guys get the point because those who are watching this video know exactly what I'm talking about, right? And what I'm talking about. In the book, while he's connecting the dots, he don't connect the dots himself. Bro, Morantz, have some fucking respect, bro. You look ridiculous. You really do. Why don't you write a book about GME going to the moon? How about that? Why don't you write a book that you came onto the scene all excited? Like Roaring Kitty, but Roaring Kitty actually had facts. Facts, not facts, because what he also had was back. He had backing. He had a backing from a community who stood by him. And that community held, and because of that, it forced a squeeze on GME. That was it. It was gone. It's over. You missed it. Now you come along. You try to do what he did, but instead of creating a community, right? What you did was you created a cult, right? You created a cult or some type of political party, a new party, a GME party, that if anyone gets rid of their GME, anyone considers anything, realistically, bro, because we're fucking adults. I'm a man, bro. I got fucking bills to pay. Your followers got bills to pay. And then you want to sit up there and bullshit them while you go to your career at Costco disrespecting people. While you talk about how amazing your marriage is while your wife is cheating on you. How great your family is, how much better you are than everybody. Did you write that in the book? No, of course not, bro. Dicks don't do that. You don't do that. You just talk about everybody else, right? But that being said, bro, I wish you much success because business is business. I'm a businessman. And all I want when I touch something is that everything I touch to turn to gold. That everything I do prospers, right? And I'm able to enjoy it. And those that I care for can do the same. And so as a man, I wish the same for any other man, whether I don't like him or not. Because I'm sure that outside of YouTube, you're probably an okay guy. Outside of YouTube, outside of GME, you're probably a cool guy to hang out with, right? To have conversation, a real conversation. Not a disrespectful one where you want to bend people over and fuck them in the ass and say, no, you got to take it without Vaseline, but you ain't going to do it to me. See, that's the kind of guy you are. Let's see how your book does. Let's see how your book does with that attitude. All right? And so I just wanted to come on. It's been a long time. My last video, I said I would come on to make fun of Morantz, just to visit him, remind him of what a fucking idiot he is, right? Because while he's at home in his new studio apartment, right, because after his wife left and then they got back together, hell, it's a whole drama and saga with this guy. That's why I like to tune in, because back in the day when I was growing up, they had soap operas, not like today. They have better ones, like the one Morantz has, right? But it's just real, so I tune into that. But anyway, that's why I'm making this video, because in my last video, as always, I went hard on the guy. I always do. I always do, because he deserves it. He deserves it the same way Thomas James, the same way Tony DeNaro, the same way Scavenger Stocks and all these other bitches lied to the masses. This was the biggest scam in the history of America. When I tell you that scammers jumped in and took over the movement, they took over the same way the Democrats took over, or whoever took over the movement in the Democratic Party and fucked it up. Because I used to be a Democrat the same way I used to almost become an A. But I became smart. I watched the patterns. I saw what the stocks were doing on a daily basis. I saw how GME would spike and then tank the next day. I saw when AMC would spike and then tank the next day. The very same people telling me that it was going to the moon was selling, and that was the pattern. Morantz sees the pattern. Roaring Kitty sees the pattern. Everyone who buys into these stocks sees the patterns. The patterns are the stocks go up and they go down. There's a difference between an everyday movement in the stock market and a manipulated one in the stock market, like a squeeze play, which is a manipulated play. And so when you manipulate a play and you hold on to a stock and you gather people together and you say, hold, the stock is going to squeeze, the stock is going to go up. Not every fucking idiot in that group is going to hold on. The smart ones, which are the majority of ones who are not used to seeing hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars or whatever thousands of dollars they made, are going to cash out because they have the right to do so. It's their money. They got bills to pay. But you don't tell people that. You don't tell people that. You disrespect them, right? You expect people to lose their money the same way you lost yours. You want people to lose their wives the same way you lost yours. You want people to lose their career. Well, I'm sure they don't care if they lose a career if they had your career. But you want people to lose everything because of that bullshit GME and AMC play, right? Because it's the same. You're no different. You want everyone who follows you to lose their life, their everything, because they need to hold on to that bullshit stock if they want to come onto your channel. The fuck out of here. This is why you look like a fucking idiot. This is why your family don't respect you. This is why your wife don't respect you. I'm going to edit that out. I'm really going to have to edit that out because I'm tired of going at him like this, right? But the guy deserves it. The guy deserves it. When I tell you the guy deserves it, I've watched this guy from the beginning. I've seen him disrespect people who ask him simple questions, who ask him a question like, hey, I see GME has dropped some 20%, 30%. Maybe I should sell because I'm already down 15%. Maybe I could save, my money. What does he do? Don't come on my channel again. Delete. Block. Bro, get the fuck out of here. Let's see how your book does now. Let's see if people are going to delete and block your book. I hope you do well, dude. Again, because I'm a businessman. And when I touch something, I want it to become gold. I see that you're a motivated person. You got a lot of energy. Your problem is that you're like a paranoid schizophrenic who is up one day, down another, or bipolar, or whatever you want to call it. You're happy on your channel one day, you're crying the next, you're disrespecting people one day, and dude, I don't know. I don't think YouTube is for you. I really don't. Let's see how the book does. But you see, when you see me, Marantz, you see me in Texas, you see me in Florida, you see me in Thailand, where I was last year, you see me in the Philippines, you see me in Cambodia in the next coming months. And I'm not a rich guy, dude. I'm not a rich guy. I'm just smart. I'm just smart. What makes me smart? I don't dig my roots into a mortgage that I'm never going to pay in my lifetime, that my children will have to take over after I'm dead. Because if not, I'm going to have to work until I'm 70 to pay off that mortgage. See, I'm smart. I don't have a car note. I don't finance. My car breaks down, I buy another one. I'm free. I can go anywhere. I can do anything. Right? I can buy and sell my AMC GME stocks whenever I want. And just like if I want to work, I work. Or if I don't want to work, I don't. Can't nobody tell me what the fuck to do with my money or my stocks. Oh, but that's what you do. Go ahead and keep telling your followers to hold on to GME regardless. Go ahead and tell them not to sell. Go ahead and tell them that if they decide to sell because they have a death in the family or an emergency, or they lost their house, or they're about to lose their house, go ahead and tell them that they can't take out their GME, because just like the mortgage holders who take their house, you're going to take her channel and delete it. Anyway, bro, I gotta say, bro, I really hope that outside of YouTube, you're not as much of a fucking asshole as you are on YouTube. Because if you are, you're not going to be, you're going to be one of those old men who's going to die alone. That's what you're going to be. You're going to be one of those old people who nobody wants to be around, who nobody respects, because nobody can talk to, no one can ask a question to, no one can ask advice to, because you're not going to give them advice. If I say, hey, Marantz, man, I want some advice in GME, buy and hold. That's your advice. Not, dude, not, hey, listen, if you're going to buy into GME, I can't tell you what to do with your money, but you have to invest and you have to be smart and you have to be careful. You have to watch the stock. You have to leave if you feel that's the most you can lose. And if you feel that the stock is going to do well, then you hold and you buy more. But in the end, it's up to you because I can't tell you what to do with your money. That's not what you tell people, bro. You want to rule with a fucking GME hand, sucking another man's sweaty balls, dude. I swear you and Ryan Cohen go out every time you go to do one of those GME outings where you talk to people and pretend that the GME stores you go to are full, right? When most of them are empty. I swear when you go to those places, you meet up with your boy, Ryan Cohen, and you guys spend a couple of hours together at the nearest motel, right? Before you go home. But anyway, thank you people for watching. Get your money, people. Take your money out of that bullshit play. Put your money into stocks that pay dividends. Right now, I'm going to tell you, a couple of weeks ago, I called my brother. I said, listen, keep your eye on oil, right? Because oil stocks are going to shoot up because they always do when there's war, right? On Friday, there were two stocks I was watching, oil stocks, USO, right? USO oil, and another stock. I'm not sure. I forgot what it is. I'm recording, so I can't look at my phone. One was at $70 a share. The other one was at $90 a share. USO was at $90 a share. That was the one I kept my eye on most. And that was on a Friday. On Sunday night when the market opened up, the USO went from $90 to $133 per share. Right now it's at $116. The other stock, which was at $70 a share, went up to 110, I believe. Right. And then Trump announced on Monday, for some reason, that the war was over. What happened to oil? It tanked. It tanked. It went down lower than where it originally started that Friday. But then when people realized that, wait a minute, first of all, it ain't over. And he's never called it a war before. When people realized that it wasn't over, the price of oil shot right back up again. And I'm in. I jumped in at the right time. But because I'm realistic and I know that holding long-term for me, it's not realistic. For me, holding long-term, for me, maybe a year, maybe 2 years. And I spend my money because life is short, dude. I'm lucky if I got 20 years left. And if I got 20 years left, I'm going to make my money. I'm going to enjoy my money. I'm going to spend my money, right? And I'm going to do it my way. And so I don't tend to do long term, right? I'll put my money into a stock for a few months, watch it grow. And when I'm happy with the amount that I got, I take it out. And then I travel. I expand the house I have over there in the Philippines. I do what I want to do with my money. And can't nobody tell me what the fuck to do with it. I remember one time my girl asked me, she goes, babe, what's going on? You know, you had all this money and now you don't have money. Are you being scammed? She says to me, she worries about me. This is when I was over there. I said, babe, please do me a favor. Don't ask me about my money. I don't ask anybody about their money. As long as the rent is paid, as long as the bills are paid, and I take care of everything that's being taken care of in the house, don't worry about how I spend my money outside of that. Okay? She understood exactly what I was saying. It's my money, bro. Allow people who follow you, who watch you, who want your advice to do whatever the fuck they want to do with their money. They got bills to pay. But anyway, it's been long enough. 35 minutes and some seconds. Thank you, people, for watching. Get your money, people. Because this motherfucker wrote a book at your expense. And while he's getting his $100 every 3 months from YouTube, right? Because that's what they pay him. And now he's got a book. All of the money these YouTubers make, they don't make from stocks like they
Emergency
tell
vehicle
you.
reported ahead.
These influencers make their money while selling you the bullshit. That's how Morant's friends makes his money, while selling you bullshit in a bullshit book, because he wants you to continue to support